today. Today we're going to be talking about 5 things that I started buying more since adopting minimalism. So for the most part, minimalism is definitely about less. Having less, owning less, using less. But minimalism is also about living an intentional lifestyle that will bring you joy. And sometimes in the process of decluttering our lives and our schedules and our minds, we realize what really does bring us joy. And a lot of times those are things that are already in our lives. But sometimes there are things that might add value to our lives that only through decluttering can we realize that we didn't already have. And it's okay to introduce new things in. So this isn't to say that I have gone out and haphazardly purchased a ton of things, but more as I have gone through the process of minimizing my life, I have intentionally brought a few things in that really do add joy and value to my life. So let's talk about the 5 things that I started buying more since adopting minimalism. The first thing that I've started buying more of is healthy whole foods. So through my process of decluttering, I realized just how much junk I was eating. To be clear, I was never the person who had a standard American diet, but I definitely still ate a lot of things that I shouldn't have, and more importantly, I was eating things so that my body wasn't processing properly. It was really interesting because as I started decluttering my life, I became a lot more attuned to what was going on inside of my body, and I realized that a lot of things weren't right. As a part of this process, I actually discovered that I have a gluten sensitivity and that I'm lactose intolerant, and I was, drinking milk and eating things with gluten in it, and my body wasn't responding properly. I think that part of the reason I was able to finally learn about my sensitivities and able to transform my diet was through the process of decluttering and being more attuned to what really mattered to me, and one of those things was my health, and that was something that I'd kind of put on the back burner for several years. So now when I go to buy food, I am specifically looking for healthy foods, and when I'm in the store trying to figure out what groceries to purchase, the first question I ask is not will I like the taste of it, but now it's will it nourish me? How will this contribute to my overall health? And that's a radically different ideology and mindset, and when you shop with that mindset, it really does change the foods that you'll bring home. And even though I might spend more on fresh fruits and vegetables than I might have before, it's totally worth it for me because my body is thriving because I am really listening to my body and taking care of it. So the second item that I've started purchasing more since becoming a minimalist is plants. And I know this is kind of stereotypical, but let me explain. Bringing plants into my home has really merged the outdoors and the indoors for me. And I love that, but not only that, but the process of taking care of plants is just so therapeutic for me. There's something very relaxing about it. There are very few things in life that give me as regular and consistent joy as taking care of my plants and watching them sprout new leaves and grow. That's really rewarding for me, and I love that feeling. The next thing that I started buying more of is quality clothing that will last me for years. I was always the person who bought clothes with the mentality of if it's cheap and I like it, then I'll buy it. But I've really come to realize at the root of it is that the utility of a clothing is really important. How many wears can you get out of it? And a lot of times that's going to trace back to the quality of the item that you're using. So while I haven't gone out and bought a ton of items to replace my entire wardrobe, as a couple of my items have been wearing out, I have tried to find more quality items to replace them with. And instead of buying 5 pairs of jeans, when my pair of jeans wear out, I'm trying to replace them with 1. So the next one is subscription and lending services. This is things like Netflix and Spotify and Redbox, things like that. With my desire not to own things that I'm just going to use once or that I'm never going to really use at all, I've really come to realize the value of subscription services. I can remember the days when you would have to go out and buy an entire album if you wanted to listen to music, and those physical albums would just collect and collect. And I think it's such a blessing now that we have something like Spotify where we can just pay a monthly fee and have access to an unlimited number of songs. The same thing goes here for things like Netflix and Hulu and whatever other subscription services you might want. They really do provide something really valuable, and one that you don't actually have to pay for. At least I know in the US you don't have to pay for, but it's your local library. Because I've started using my library more regularly, I've gotten to a place where I rarely need to buy books. For the most part, what I do is check to see if the library has it first, and if it does, then that's fantastic, and I will 100% just read the book from the library. I've done this a lot lately, and it's been fantastic. So this next one is a bit of a fun one for me, but it's loose leaf tea. Drinking tea is one of my favorite ways to relax, and I have several cups of tea on a given day. And I always used to just go ahead and buy the bagged tea from the stores, but I've come to learn just how much more enjoyment I get from loose leaf tea, and so I've made a regular habit of starting to buy it. Now, of course, this isn't a huge expenditure for me, but it's something small that adds a ton of relaxation just to my everyday, and it's something that really brings me joy. Some of my favorite teas are vanilla rooibos tea, mint green tea, and honestly most kinds of chai tea. I love a good spiced chai, but vanilla chai is also fantastic. Okay, and the last thing that I started buying more is reusable and more sustainably made products. Once again, this isn't to say that I've gone out and purchased a ton of new things, but I have bought myself a reusable stainless steel water bottle, a reusable set of cutlery so I don't need to use plastic cutlery, and there have just been a couple of other things that brought into my life to, in whatever small way that I can, live a more eco-friendly, a more sustainable lifestyle. I think part of realizing how much stuff I had and how much of it was just going to waste made me really consider and contemplate my environmental impact and what I was, doing as a citizen of the earth. Was I being a good steward of the world? And while I'm not zero waste, I think that going through that process of thinking that through has definitely made me a lot more conscious about my actions, and it's definitely made me want to steer more towards living a more sustainable lifestyle. So maybe you could say I'm striving for minimal waste. I don't know. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below if there are any items that you have started buying more since adopting minimalism, and if you haven't seen my video on the 10 things that I stopped buying when I became minimalist, definitely be sure to link it in the cards right here, so definitely be sure to check that out. If you guys haven't subscribed to my channel yet, I would absolutely love it if you would do so today. On this channel, I make videos about minimalism and intentional living, and if that sounds like something you're interested in, definitely be sure to subscribe. Anyways, guys, I hope you have a fantastic day today, and I'll see you in the next video.